Welcome to the Bowdudes, a podcast about archery and the lives it has ruined. The Bowdudes are not responsible for diminishing archery skills or lower IQ.
I worry about breathing.
Shut up and shoot.
And I'm totally lost.
God, I keep having to remember that we're PG-13.
Did Fritz help you with those pants?
No, he did not. I'm so glad you have yourself to crack up.
Logic and common sense will not be tolerated.
This is a very interesting podcast so far. All right, welcome back to the Bowdudes, a podcast about archery and the lives it has ruined. If you're just tuning in, haven't been listening very long, we're just a bunch of guys sitting around talking about archery. None of us are really experts, but we just like to shoot bows, and we like to talk about it. So it's just like a bunch of guys sitting around a campfire, drinking a beer, talking about archery and stuff. So
we're missing a campfire. We're missing beer.
Yeah.
And I can fix that.
Bows hung up outside.
Yeah.
I actually had 3 beers last night.
Did you?
I think that's the most beers I've had in one setting for maybe 3 years.
Bob's up to 1 a year. Look out.
But we always... Go ahead.
What's everybody been doing? Go ahead and finish what you were... I know you should in the middle of an intro. Let's hear it.
I'm done now.
Make it sound good.
No, you already ruined it. But we always also start off talking about what we did in bows. And this week, Gary and I went up. We did a lot of work setting up. I used to have a little camping area up on my farm, and it kind of has overgrown for several years. And Gary took a walk.
Several years.
And
that overgrown took longer than several years to get there.
Well, it hadn't been that long. But, I mean, we had a nice fire pit, and there was, inch diameter trees growing up in the middle of it and everything. And
at least, yeah.
Yeah. And so he took his walk-behind mower up there and chainsaw, and we got it all reclaimed.
Looks good.
Yep. So I went up there.
We reclaimed and we added on.
Yeah. We added on an archery range, so I took a target up there and set a target up. I did some shooting up there, and I went up hunting Monday, and it was just seemed perfect, so I just set up a tent and a sleeping bag, and I stayed up there that night and went hunting the next day. So I got caught in the tree stand that night with a whole bunch of does that came in just right at dark, and I had to sit up there for a long time until they finally took off. And then the next morning, I didn't see anything. And there was one night where I went, the night before that, I must have been up there 2 nights. The night before that, I went up and tried to get into a new tree stand we set up, and I scared a really nice buck out as I was trying to get to it. I like where these tree stands are at, but it's just impossible to get to. There's just no good way to get into it. If you come into it from the south, depending on how the wind's blowing, if you come into it from the south, and there's a good chance the deer will see you coming in. If you come into it from the north, you got to go up through the timber, and you're probably going to spook them out. There's a huge hill going straight down from it, and it would suck climbing it, but it's not that much of a climb. It wouldn't take that much. We need to figure out a trail up through there. It would suck going up it in the dark, so we need to put some of those.
Bob knows how to make those Carrollton 3D steps.
Yeah.
And it won't be hard. We'll go up there with a chainsaw and
shovel
a couple hours
of
and
sweat.
look good.
Yeah, so
Won't be a problem.
That's what I did. What about you, Gary?
I helped you, and then we have been shooting a lot. I mean, if not every night, every other night when I'm not mowing, cleaning up leaves, whatever. Been doing the James A. Reed walkthrough course. Probably shot it.
James A. Reed, for people that doesn't live in Kansas City, what is that? It's a suburb of Kansas City, which is
like
Blue Springs?
Lee Summit.
No, it's South Lee Summit.
Okay.
It's a wildlife refuge, basically. They have there's a Missouri Conservation Department out there. There's a whole bunch of lakes and stuff you can fish in.
Do you have to buy a license to shoot there?
No.
You don't?
You don't. They do draws for for controlled hunts, stuff like that. You can dove hunt out there, but only Monday through Friday. You can't dove hunt on the weekends because there's too many cars. So it's a nice little place. I mean, you can go out there and they have trout in a couple of the ponds. They have bass in other ones, and you have.
Do they actually close dove hunting on the weekends?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's a part of the regulation,
so they don't get peppered with shot.
right? But they have a nice walkthrough course. They take care of the trails are really good that you can walk through. I mean, some of them, obviously, the more people go on them, the more they get slick when it gets wet and muddy. But some of the bales are questionable. After about your second time through, you figure out which ones you're going to skip and then shoot the next one 2 or 3 times. But it's a good little course. You get probably half to 3/4 of a mile walk in, up and down hills, so you get kind of like a good cardio workout, and you can still shoot. But
Does the conservation department maintain that, or does
I don't know who does it. I don't know, but they have some good bales and then they have some bad bales. And the funny thing is, the 30, 40-yard shots will have a bale that's 4x4, and you get to a 50 or 60, and it'll have a bale that's 2x2. Like, really? You kind of got those backwards, boys.
Make you concentrate.
But it does. But I mean, there's a few shots you're shooting flat. Other than that, there's some up and down hills. They do have an 80-yard shot where you're standing up on a cliff that's probably 20, 25 feet up, and you shoot 80 yards out in front of you. It's a good little poke, but nice little range, especially for free. I mean, I would like it if they charge people, $15, $20 a year. Take that money to get better bales, but it's nice that it's free also. Not far from the house.
What do you have spots on the targets or what? Yeah. Okay.
Usually, a lot of people will take a quick trip lid and put one on there. So, you've got a 4-inch wide, but at 60 yards, 60 or 80, you're shooting a 4-inch wide target. It's not bad. Other than that, they have just like spray painted black holes of what it looks like, because it's just a black circle on the target, and it's kind of hard to focus on because it's so big. But most people, like I said, they'll shoot a quick trip lid or something and leave it sticking up there, so everybody else gets to shoot at it. But Larry and I walk through it quite a bit, so we'll take some of the sticky orange targets that are only 2 or 3 inches and put them up. But it's really irritating when you can see the people in front of you and that they're shooting at something when you get up there. Whatever they were shooting at's laying on the ground because they were too lazy to put it back. Yeah.
How do you really feel?
Yeah.
I'd tell you, but some people would get mad. Because you go out of your way to make sure there's a good target there to shoot at and all that stuff, and people that don't block the target when they go to pull an arrow and just grab it, and the target's leaning over and it keeps leaning farther and farther, and they keep tugging.
It's like a 3D shoot when the target's
comes apart
lays and leave it unpart.
Yeah,
apart.
That's a pet peeve.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, we used to maintain the Pigeon Hill course up in St. Joe, Missouri for the conservation department let us have a 3D shoot there if we maintained the practice bales. And you'd go up there and people would use them to sight in their shotguns for turkey season. And, and they have to drive by rifle,
pistol and
shotgun ranges to get to the archery range. They have to drive a lot farther to get to the archery range, but I don't know if people go down there and it's busy or what, or if they just... Some people, I think, just like to watch the earth burn,
Yeah, you get a kick out of tearing stuff up and making it inconvenient for the person behind you.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my rant.
We had them set up there out at Walnut Hills for years and years, and we had I guess there was a group that just liked to come in there and knock them down. Kept knocking them down, and the last time they knocked them down and actually burnt, set them on fire, burnt 2 or 3 of them up. So we just quit.
Yeah.
See, that sounds like a bunch of anti-hunter tree
No,
huggers.
I think it was just a bunch of kids, just nothing better to do. So,
like to catch them once, though, wouldn't you?
No,
Give them something better to do.
I didn't want to catch them. Wouldn't have been nice.
That's what I mean.
Have you got to do anything this week, Bob, since the crops are all coming out?
Last Saturday I did run over to the shop at East Fork, and that's the new name of it is Sebastian Cooper that had worked there for all the way through high school, I guess. He's taken over the shop and is changed the name to actually The Shop at East Fork. And he's got a new logo. It's got a crow on it. It's pretty cool looking logo.
How come it's got a crow?
I don't know, but I told him I really, really liked it, and I don't know why he changed it to the crow, but it looks pretty good. I can't wait to
Where's that at in Missouri?
That's at Huntsville, Missouri. So it's
kind of out in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Yeah, and it kind of Kathy McLean. She still runs the kids programs, and she actually has several parents that are helping too. That they've taken their S3DA and gotten the coaching for that and. And
you all right?
Bib's going to at you in here in a minute.
I was about to sneeze.
But, I already woke him up. Now he's going to sneeze.
And then some other USA coaching and stuff. So she has a lot of parents, and like I said, it's out there in the middle of nowhere. It's probably 5-6 miles from Huntsville. And Saturday morning they have kind of a kids league type thing out there, and you go out there and that thing's just packed full of kids shooting. And,
that's
wow.
Cool.
Yeah. And
where do they come from? Actually, the town of Huntsville, or?
Huntsville, Moberly. Now, at one time they were doing the 4-H for Sheraton County, which would have been on to the west of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
but they draw from all around, huh?
Yeah. They have a super good kids program, and they've got some kids that are. I mean, they're really, really good shots. There's a couple of them just came back from, what was the shoot that Julie just went to here a while back?
Target, yeah. Outdoor
Nationals or whatever. Yeah, came back with silver bowls,
Nice.
And, the one little guy told him to bring it next time I wanted to see it. And he told me to no because he knew I was going to take it from him. It's terrible to be jealous of like an 11 or 12-year-old kid,
Right.
But man,
do you have one of those bowls?
No, sir.
From indoor nationals when you shot fingers?
No.
Did you get close?
7th.
7th?
Yeah, it was the best that I got. There was like 33 shooters in there.
Yeah.
But nope. Not saying I shouldn't have, but it's one of them. I won't say I choked, but I choked.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Yeah, but no, it went over there and bought a new hunting bow. Bought the new PSE Carbon Air 34.
Yeah.
What's the interest rate on that?
That's no lie of these bows anymore. Anybody checked out the prices of the new Hoyts yet?
It's not good.
Over $1,000.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
I hope my wife doesn't listen to this.
I saw the Rogers had the Pro Defiant yesterday. It was $9.99.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in there earlier, and Rodney said it was the same prices.
Pro Defiant, that's a carbon bow, or they come with aluminum?
No, it's
that's
aluminum.
Oh, and it's not.
Yeah.
So the carbon is going to be $1,200 or more. 14.
$12.49 or $13.49.
You can guarantee it's going to be $300-$400 more.
$14.95 is
MSRP or
that's
MAP or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
is it worth it? I know we're got to do what you did in archery, but I just had to ask that question.
Well, let's finish up with Bob's carbon.
But yeah,
we're doing a whole podcast on that in just a minute.
No, it shoots really nice. It took me a little bit. Part of it was because I kind of had a brain cramp when I put the rest on there, but I didn't. I was having I don't know. It took me a little longer to get a bullet hole in paper, and but once I did, I took it outside and shot at 50 and walked right on into 20, and it was nothing left or right I had to change or anything on it. And
we shot that up at Rogers, and when you see a picture of it, I didn't think it was a very good looking bow. But when I picked one up in Rogers, it's an awesome looking bow.
What's it look like, Bob?
It looks like a Hoyt.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Not really. It does, but
It's got the back bar that comes around the grip, so
But the
Jerry won't be
that
able to shoot it
adjustable,
left-handed.
that adjustable cable
roller. They put a roller on them this
yeah,
time.
cable roller. It comes in and almost touches the arrow when you have it at full
It
draw.
really looks like, and that's one thing that I wasn't sure I was going to like, because I down in the basement, when I drew back, I was trying to look at everything, make sure everything, and I'm seeing cables in my peep.
Yep.
Oh.
I said, man, I'm not going to like that. I got outside, and when I started shooting it outside and stuff, I come back in. I shot it, several times. And didn't even notice.
Didn't notice them?
No. Did you notice it out here?
No, I didn't pay any attention to it at all.
Once you start concentrating on something out away from you,
You just go right past
Well, see,
it.
and that's you have a peep on it. You're looking through there. When we were at Rogers, it's just bare. There was no peep or anything on the bow, so we were just shooting it. And when you're not completely focused on a sight or something, you see everything.
Yeah.
So you can see it move in there. You're like, man, that's close. I mean, it's what, 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
It's close.
But I think and I had an opportunity to buy a Carbonair last year, and I really didn't like how they had the cable guard, because it was right up there. It was real close. When they put rollers on it this time, and I think it's better myself. But you don't have. I noticed there were several guys that I saw shooting them that had some cable wear on the guards and stuff, and these rollers, it seemed like it. I think you're a little more tunability with them and stuff, and so. But it shoots real nice. I mean,
Are they still doing the adjustable limb pockets? Do they do it on that bow, or
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not on this one.
are they doing it still on the new PSEs?
I think so. Yeah, because they've changed some of those a little bit too. It has on each side of that, it has a locking screw where before when they moved them out where they wanted them, something about by the time they got the other one moved in, something had changed, so they've got them where they can lock them down.
I see.
So I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people that's tune those bows, and most of the time they don't really mess with that.
Just leave them centered
too much. Yeah. I don't know. I never mess with mine on my other bows, so
it almost gets to a point where there's so much freaking stuff to think about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. But the cam's real nice. It pulls back and kind of. You can get them 80% and 90% let off. I prefer the 80. And that's the only thing that I don't like about the bow, and I shot the elites a little bit, just messing with them, and that's what I didn't like about those bows either, is when you let down, seems like you have to push them to get them to let down.
Right.
And
but that feels good when you're holding it.
Yeah.
It's almost too good.
And I think this bow will definitely be probably a better hunting bow than what my Decree was, because my Decree was 70% let off, and when you was back, when you just ease up a little bit and it was ready to go, somewhat like the spirals on the Hoyts were. But I think if you have to draw back and wait for a deer to come through, this bow will be a lot better. So, and you know what, you draw back on a buck, he stops.
Yep.
And he's not in the right spot.
Never.
So you usually have to wait.
Right.
But
yep.
So no, it's a nice shooting bow. Gary shot it outside.
I shot it a while ago. One in the target, one right below it. May have bounced off the tree, but we found it. And it was right there.
I was wondering what took you guys so long.
No, we walked right up to that. We were standing out there talking.
Oh.
We knew you needed some alone time, so we stayed outside for an extra 10 minutes.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
He was gathering his thoughts.
We did go up to the farm and my son and I check out the ground blind for wasps and stuff, because somebody always goes up and leaves the windows down, and they had, so they didn't disappoint me there. I knew that was going to happen. We put
Do
up
you leave
some-
that out year round?
Yeah, it's a big, heavy box. It's a
It's a box blind.
box blind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a shadow hunter or something like that. So
I was going to say on my pop-up blinds, I have to leave the windows down or they blow away,
yeah,
collapse. So
yeah.
Trees usually fall on mine for some reason.
yeah, mine too. Doesn't matter where I put it.
I could put it in the middle of the field and go out there and it'd have a tree limb in the top of it.
My double
Don't
bull, I broke it once, ordered poles, fixed it, set it up, went back up. I thought, I'm not going to break this one again. I went back up to get it in like January or February, and the stakes were frozen into the ground. I couldn't get it. Came back up a couple weeks later, and a big tree limb was right in the middle of it, and it broke 3 sides.
You could have cut the rope, left the stakes in the ground, took it with you.
Now you
No.
tell him.
I didn't know how to explain it.
Now they were in the corners where they got the little loops.
You cut the loops.
No, you don't.
Still got your
No.
stand. Yeah, but you still got your stand. Or you're blind.
So
But also
Now what
had,
you got?
had something happen that I hadn't happen for 12 years. I drove back to the cemetery. I wasn't going to go back in where my stand's at because I wanted to kind of, like I said, I've been leaving it alone. Been too hot to hunt. And we get back there and there's tire tracks through the cemetery, through the tall weeds and stuff. And
Ooh.
yeah, I told my son, I said, that's not good. So
it's just a cemetery that's not visited very often.
yeah, it's on the dead end road, growed up and everything else. And so last year during season, I'd put up a double ladder stand for my grandson. If I wanted to take my grandson back there and hunt the ridge that I hunt, and easy access. We're just right on the edge of the timber. And we drove around there, and it was gone.
Man.
And after I got done throwing a fit, we stepped across the little barbed wire fence there and walked up there. And Aaron says, "Well, there it is." And it was somebody had cut it all down, drug it down the hill just a little bit, left it there, stole 2 pins out of the ladders, and we couldn't find the ratchet strap but he did happen to have another ratchet strap, so we put it back up and kind of mended up the cut
Put a
straps.
camera on it or anything?
No, they either got scared or somehow formed a conscience halfway through trying to steal it and
One year,
got lazy.
One year, my neighbor had a son-in-law who was known to be a questionable character. This was a big dude, too. It's not somebody I probably should have been messing with.
You were mad.
But
Ain't scared.
he came in. I went over to get in my tree stands, and they were gone. Well,
Oh, snap.
started looking around, and there was one of my ladder steps laying in the ditch. So I started following that ditch, and then I looked over on their property, and there was another ladder. So I said, screw it. I trespassed. I'm not going to lie. And I went over in there and followed that, and I found my stands over there by his stand. And so I got all my stuff, and then I got up and I took his stand down, and the ladder that he had up to his stand, and I threw it in the ditch, and I left it there so he'd know that I knew. And then I actually went back, and it was gun season, so I broke the law again because I went over in there and I sat where those ladders and stuff were, and I took off my orange and I sat there to wait on him, which would have been a big mistake if he'd have came in.
You had a gun.
He's a big boy. I don't know if I had my gun with me or not. I think I did.
That was the big mistake.
Yeah, but he never did show up, but I got my stuff back and I tossed his down. Probably wasn't a good thing for me to do, but it felt good at the time.
Well, that
And
sometimes
So-
when you lose your temper, things just.
yep, I didn't steal his stuff.
You ever been there, Pip?
Me? No.
He was scared of
I didn't
Gilman
steal
City.
his stuff, but it was
Never.
obvious that he took it because it was laying right by his tree stand, and so
We've only been here 50 years. I didn't know that wasn't our property.
yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, what about you, Pitt? What have you done this week?
I've hunted a little bit. Went out Saturday morning, got up. Barb and I got up and went, and really had a pretty fun morning in the stand. I mean, didn't see anything I wanted to tag, but I had lots of activity, and I got to watch 4 or 5 little bucks mess around and see it was cool because as the sun came up, it was kind of frosty, and the sun came up in my face, and the backside of the hill that all these deer were on was all frosty and shadowy, and as the sun came up, everything started steaming, and you can see the breath, and it was just a pretty morning. And then went again that evening and didn't see a thing. Actually, Saturday evening, I did see deer Saturday evening, as a matter of fact. Nothing, once again, just small bucks. And Sunday morning I went and didn't see a thing. Of course, it was like 65 degrees.
Yeah.
But got busted on the way in. Walked down my neighbor's driveway. It's probably...
That's always the start to a good story. Yeah. Got busted walking down the neighbor's driveway.
It's probably... Well, here's the funny part about it is, as I was getting to the top of my driveway here at the cul-de-sac, he was pulling out in his pickup. He goes out every morning over to his mom's. And so I went walking down his driveway. About, 50 yards from his house, he has an outbuilding. Well, I always walk along the west side of the building as I'm going, and because it butts up right to the edge of the timber. And I no sooner stepped past the corner of that and took my first step into the timber, and there was one laying it on the east side.
The deer busted you, not the neighbor.
And he got up and went to the south in a hurry.
Yeah.
And so I walked on in, and that was all I got to see.
Yeah.
And I didn't get to see much of him. So, and other than that, just been doing a little shooting.
You're setting up an indoor bow, aren't you? I can't see your head nod.
Yes, sir.
Why?
So I can shoot some indoor.
Okay.
'Tis the season.
Is that safari collared one over there?
It's
bronze.
No, it's that brown. They call it harvest brown.
Oh,
yes, that's the bow.
That's your indoor bow.
Yes, it's my right now. It's my indoor / 3D /
everything bow.
Yeah, except for hunting bow.
Yeah,
and it'd work for that if you needed it.
It would.
A little noisy.
Yeah.
I did order a bow yesterday.
New one?
Yes.
Which one?
The Prevail 37.
Oh, really?
Is that one going away?
That one's probably going to end up being Barb's. I'll put new different cams and strings on it for her. But
yeah. So did Hoyt do anything different?
Yes, they did for me.
What'd they do?
They sold him a new bow. That's different.
On Monday, which today is what? Thursday. The what? What date?
It was the 24th.
27th.
24th was the launch.
Monday the 24th, Hoyt launched.
Yes. And they came out with a
Defiant Pro
in 30 and 34, 30-inch and 34-inch axle configurations. All the carbon bows stayed the same.
What are they called?
The Carbon Defiant. And
they went out on a limb with that one.
And they came out with a new 3 new target bows.
And they're all called the Prevail?
There's a Prevail, 40-inch Prevail, a 37-inch Prevail, and then the Prevail FX.
Yeah.
And it's a 35-inch bow.
40-inch Prevail for finger shooters?
Yeah.
You ordered 37, right?
Yes.
Although they did put the cam on it that Pip's going to talk about.
Yes, that was the highlight of my day when because I watched the video and they have a new cam called the X3, and they directly compared it to the C2. They said, if you guys like the C2, you'll like this cam.
Yeah.
So I was like, gotta have one.
What's so good about that?
I just always got along with that cam. It was plenty fast. It had a decent wall on it, but there was just enough give at the back. It let you relax through a shot without feeling like it would take it away from you.
It was kind of the in between the spiral and the cam and a half.
Yeah.
So you ordered it the week of October 24th, so you should get it about May?
Actually, they addressed that in the video as well.
They
said it would not be your typical 4-month wait. this year.
Wow.
But I'm not going to hold my breath.
Be your non-typical 6 month wait.
Right. Right.
See, that's
We're going
one
to
thing.
surprise you and make you wait longer.
That's one thing I'd like to see the boat companies change. I'd like to see them have 2 launches. And some of them are kind of heading that way. But I'd like to see them do a target boat launch in like August. Then you could get them ordered and hopefully have them here before indoor season starts in December. And see, right now it's almost November, and you're getting ready to order a target bow, and the first indoor tournament of the year used to be called Presley's. Now it's called something else. It's going to be the first of
Midwest
December.
Open.
Midwest Open's the first of December, right?
Yep.
You're not going to have that. I mean, only the pros are probably going to have that bow, and some of them aren't going to have it. Probably.
Well, most of them already got them.
Yeah.
Well, how come they don't just have a whole bunch of them ready to ship?
I don't know.
Because they go by sales.
Because they're trying to get last year's bows put together.
Well, I realize that, but you should still have some inventory. People that they know are going to, like Pibb, or even if Thunder ordered one, they know are going to.
I'm
sure
order
they
one.
have some. Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of makes sense. But
I'd like to see them release the target bows in August, and then release the hunting bows during the ATA show, because there's a lot of these guys. It's bow season right now, and a lot of these shops still have leftover hunting bows.
Last year's bows, yeah.
And guys are coming in wanting the new ones. They don't want the ones they have left over. They want the brand new ones.
Yep.
You know,
the leftover ones are on sale.
I know.
They're cheaper,
and they're
it's
the
exact same bow.
Pretty much the same bow, but you want the new one.
Nope.
So,
I want the used one that's cheaper.
I know, but I'm just saying it would help shop owners. You know, I think they have allowed shop owners recently. They used to not even allow this, is to mark those bows down.
Right.
You know, used to, a lot of the bow companies didn't even want them to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they're kind of even, some of them are even softening up on this time of year. They'll let them sell them on the internet.
Thank you for my shit hook hat,
Yeah.
Gary.
Not a problem.
What is a shit hook?
A shit hook is somebody that is just a shit hook. That's what I called her. She'd shoot a 12 when she wasn't supposed to be shooting a 12, and I just call her, you shit hook. I don't know. It's been passed down through my family
I
a
see.
lot of times, so Gary gave me this
Well,
hat.
we listened to another show.
No, Jack
called
gave you that hat.
We listened to
Oh,
another podcast called the Outdoor Show. It's actually mostly a fishing show based out of Florida, but they also hunt. Very interesting show, even if you're not into it. I had no idea what they were talking about most of the time, because they fish out in the ocean, but they're just a bunch of good guys to listen to. And
Two of them are.
That's all I need is another podcast.
Two of them are Mossy Oak sponsored.
yeah,
Well, two of them are
many do I
guys,
got
and two
here?
of them are Mossy Oak reps.
right.
That's a good subject, Jack. How many podcasts do you listen to?
I listen to quite a few. I can count them. You guys keep talking, and I'll count how many podcasts I listen to.
Well, this
That
shit,
could take all night.
this shit hook hat, I'll describe it here a little bit. It's got 2 fish hooks, and they kind of make an S.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's what Gary. I said. I think I might call Julie a shit hook one time, and you heard it, and he said, "I got a hat."
Well, I ordered a bunch. I ordered 3 hats, and I ordered 2 for me, and I got Jack one, and that's the hat from Jack because he doesn't like it. So really, he gave it to you.
Well, thank you, Jack.
I
Okay.
bought him a hat for no reason, apparently.
I thought they sent that to you for free.
No, I got other ones.
Oh,
No, I
But
ordered,
he ain't giving them up.
I subscribe to 21 podcasts.
21.
So do I. 21 exactly.
Really?
I have a
Yeah.
good job. I build Ford trucks, but it's a boring job. It's an assembly line job. Do the same thing. I don't have to think. I just have to show up and try not to fall asleep and fall down.
And try to stay out of the forklift driver's way.
Yeah.
Or the
Try to stay
high
out of-
lift or whatever.
High-low.
Yeah.
High-low.
High-low vents.
I turned down a lot of those high-low jobs. I probably should have taken one, but I just don't think my back can handle it. So, but anyway, I listen to 21 different podcasts.
would you like to name said podcast?
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. I really don't care.
The archery one.
This is just like going to Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
I know. There's 31 flavors. You're 10 short.
I
Jack.
do listen to the Gun Dudes. I started listening to them again, and this show is basically stolen from the Gun Dudes from years and years ago. That was our favorite show. We decided to do a podcast. We started looking for archery names, and every archery name that's ever been invented was already taken, and
Or the other ones that weren't taken sounded really stupid.
right. And so Gary goes, "Why not just we like the gun dudes? Why don't we just call ourselves the Bowdudes?" You know, and they lead off their show. What'd you do in guns this week? After that, we're different, but the name in the intro.
I didn't realize we were plagiarists.
The name in the intro. I listened to Shooting the Bull podcast that just started, Gun Dudes. I listened to Apes Among Us. That's a Bigfoot podcast.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I listened to the Gritty Bowman. If you want to listen to a really good podcast, an archery podcast, that's another one I would suggest.
Bowdudes.
I listened to the Generation Y podcast. That's about murders.
It's a guy I work with.
The Wired to Hunt. I download the Bowdudes podcast, so we'll get downloads, but I never listen to this crap after I record it.
You actually do, because then you have to post it, so you hear it twice
I listen
anyway.
to Keep Hammering with Cameron Haynes. I listen to
Keep Cameron.
Conservation Matters with Shane Mahoney. If you guys never listened to Shane Mahoney, go look him up. He's a guy from Canada and Newfoundland, actually, and which is part of Canada, but he kind of says they're separate. I listen to Radio Lab, which is a very good one. The Hunt Backcountry, History on Fire, which is awesome. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, which is awesome. The Rich Outdoors. I listen to Jay Scott Outdoors. I listen to Full Draw Full Time, which is awesome. Hunt Talk Radio with Randy Newberg. I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience. I listen to Knock On with John Dudley, which is one you are required to listen to. Make sure you get that one. And I subscribe to the Outdoor Podcast channel, which actually I listen to a lot more, because how many shows are on the Outdoor Podcast channel?
Oh, several, and they've added a couple.
Yeah, the Outdoor Podcast channel, you can download it. You'll automatically get our show. Some of you may be doing that now. And then you'll also get the Turkey Hunter, Hunt Fish Travel, the Bow Divas, Take Aim with Brandon Hammonds, which is a really good guy.
Up North Journal.
Fish Nerds, Up North Journal. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. And then I also, of course, listen to the Meat Eater podcast with Steve Ranella, which is one of my favorites. So,
wow. We've got the same number of podcasts, but we have different tastes.
Yeah.
Well, I listen to two.
What do you listen to?
Bowdudes, and I listened to the Bow Divas one time.
I listened to the Bow Divas, one of the last ones they did, and Julie admitted that she never listens to us, so screw it. I'm never listening to them anymore either.
She told me she doesn't listen to us. So told her,
She's got to listen to us. Where do you think she gets ideas from?
I told her, no wonder you hit that plateau and not
You
go any higher.
You can't, Gary. You can't go there, because that's not where she gets her ideas. Sorry, man.
Where'd she get her ideas?
Well, a lot of them come from Barb
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if she listens or not.
The smart one.
and Annalisa both. I mean, I think they all pretty much throw something in there, but they're not stealing nothing from us. In fact, I listen to them sometime and go, dang, why didn't we think of that?
They had a really good one with Sonia from Rogers the other day.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah.
I need to.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I talked to Sonia a while ago. She said it wasn't anything special.
Maybe we ought to have Sonia on.
Actually, I was in there yesterday to buy some scent spray, a buck bomb, and the good stuff. I won't tell y'all what it is, but it's the good stuff.
Code Blue.
Nope.
What is it?
It's fresh.
What is it? Tell us. Why can't you tell us? Why is it a secret if they sell it at the store?
Because then it wouldn't be secret.
The listeners want to know now. You got to tell
If you go to the front counter and you look at...
Is there a refrigerator that keeps it?
Yes, there's a refrigerator up front, and you ask them for the good stuff. They're going to...
What's it called?
It's
The
called
good stuff?
It's called Mrs. Dough Peas.
Mrs. Dough Peas.
Yeah.
Vicky used to carry that, didn't she?
Mm-mm.
She carried something in her refrigerator for a while.
Well, it may have been.
It was
Yeah.
But
Bud Light.
man, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And you have to keep it refrigerated. So, but anyway,
It
I
tasted like
talked
Dough Pea,
to
it'd be Corona.
That's anytime you guys put a lime in a beer to make it taste good, something's not right.
But
anyway, when I walked up to the counter, oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on her name? I've known her for years.
Ethel.
No,
Beatrice.
no. Now I'm all messed up.
Candy.
No.
If I can't
Bambi.
remember their name, it's always Ethel.
Oh,
Mercedes.
Premium. Non-lead.
man. There's Sonia.
No ethanol.
Burgundy.
I'm out. I
Brandy.
can't do it.
Brandy. Mercedes.
Steve Rogers' daughter.
Sprinkles. Shannon.
There it is.
The other S word.
Made the comment to
She's
me.
not a stripper.
Nope.
She made the comment to me yesterday that Sonia had told her how good a time she had recording. And I said, well, you need to go record with them. She said, well, I think I will. So,
Well, she should come record
Don't
with
send
us.
them to her.
And here's the difference.
They own the store. Bring her
Here's one problem.
we could do that.
Here's-
I could probably steal her.
Here's the
Okay.
problem I had with their podcast with Sonya. They're 4 women. So
They all have opinions.
Sonya, they need to, with all due respect, shut up and let Sonya talk. We'll see if they
That'll
listen.
never-
We'll see if they listen to this podcast
Never
or
happen.
not.
That'll never happen.
Oh, that's brutal, Jack.
Well,
It's about like a bunch of crickets.
I know.
I meant it to be funny. I didn't mean it to be
Moving on.
controversy. Yeah. So we'll have Sonya on and we'll let her talk.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jack. if they truly are that big, and they drag the ground when you walk in here, I know one of the divas is right
No,
upstairs
I'm not gonna-
right now. You
We'll
could probably say that too.
We'll see if they listen.
Okay.
Don't tell her I said anything. We'll just see if they listen. I don't think they listen.
Oh, I
That's
know
not
one of
gonna
them does.
But she lives over in Kansas, so it's all right.
I got to sleep with one of them, guys.
Oh, maybe that's the other one that doesn't live in Kansas. You might be in trouble.
I was just joking. I didn't mean for everybody to go silent and scared. You
Hey, you
think
think we can get her to fix dinner next week?
you think your buddies would back you
Yep.
up on some stuff? But
She might even make me
Hey,
a
we were
sandwich.
backing you up way back.
yeah, you backed
Hamburgers
up a
and
long
brats.
ways.
Make me
You know,
she make
We
me
wanted
a-
to make sure nothing got by.
My GoPro deal from out when we was out west. I actually pulled the card and stuck it and got it in my computer and played some of the. The first 2, they were real boring. I mean, I was filming the doves going in. I thought that was pretty neat at the time. Doves going in. I sat there and watched it. I looked and I said, they had like 15 minutes of damn doves going in and out.
You realize how bored you were sitting in that blind.
I thought, how in the hell did I sit there and watch them? Then the one that I thought was pretty cool with the Roadrunner coming up there and being pissed off. It was just about as bad. But I had 2 or 3 others on there that I actually filmed Jack at different times, and yeah, there was 2 of them. And guess what he was doing both times?
Picking my nose.
Nope.
What I was going to say.
Almost as bad.
What?
You were eating. You were tearing the chips up there that one time, and then if you
Where
ever
was
heard
this at?
at the clubhouse, I mean at the
Oh,
bunkhouse, and then the other one was when they were walking out there. You had an apple and was eating it, and if you've ever been around
It's because I'm a health nut.
hogs or anything, and the old
Oh, yeah.
comment of sounds as noisy as a sow chewing on a peach seed. I've never heard somebody enjoy an apple.
There's a
as
scientific
much.
name for that, but
Maybe I need to quit eating apples in the tree stand. I might see a deer.
there's a scientific name for that. I can't remember what it is, but it's a phobia where you have this instant hatred and I mean, it makes me want to murder people when I hear them crunching food next to my ear.
So if I were eating ice right now, you'd be going,
Oh, I'd want to stab you in the eye with a spear.
that wouldn't stop the noise.
But the one where you was eating apple, it was pretty cool because they were taking the horses out and going out after this buck that was out
You
there.
stole an apple from the horse.
That was the horse catcher.
That's what good thing I showed up right after that when I had my lunch, remember?
I didn't know you were filming me.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Jack didn't plan on being out there all day. Remember? So we met up with him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go with you. Because, we're going to go out there and kill this antelope real quick and get it over with. Then everybody
Right.
left except me and Jack and Michael and
I was there from
Kyle.
I was out from 4:30. What time we get up?
4:30.
4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And Gary finally goes, I got an extra sandwich, and I about kissed him full on the lips whenever he told me that.
What do you mean about to? You were delirious at that point. I was like, Jack, okay, you can have both sandwiches.
And I guess that baggie that it was in did pass it.
How would we know?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a long day.
Yeah.
But
So anyway, what are we really going to talk about tonight?
I don't know. The podcast's about over now.
Something
Gary
about,
wanted to talk about something.
was it? Something about the
Yeah, we have
price
a
of
plan to
bows
do.
and whether it's worth a new bow. And
No. When do you actually decide or come
I
to the
can tell you.
conclusion that
I have the answer.
when Barb lets you, that's not the
No.
Let him get the question out.
When do you decide it's time for you to upgrade your archery equipment?
That's easy.
Every year when a new one comes out?
Pretty much.
All right, well, good podcast, fellas.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. So
That-
next week we'll.
But the rule used to be you couldn't get a new bow until you'd killed
yeah,
with the bow that you
I
had.
agree. Yep. I had
So-
I had one for a long time.
I did too. 3 years.
Okay, well, let's go back to where, not to the point where we couldn't afford to get a new bow or get new equipment, but to the somewhat modern day where we can all afford to get, just a new sight or new rest, or you want to change or something. What makes you decide that?
I look at it and say,
That's pretty cool. I think I want that
I
on my
want
bow.
that. Yeah. But
It's easier to ask for
You guys
forgiveness.
my problem is I take a sight off of a bow that man, I like that sight, but this one may be just a tad bit better. So I got it, and I can't really decide whether should I keep that sight, because man, if this one doesn't pan out, I got to keep that sight. So it's over on a shelf, and then I almost forget about it, and then something else happened. I mean, then I've got 3 or 4 sights laying around, and it's not fair to have a perfectly good sight setting on a shelf someplace and not being in use.
It needs a bow to go on.
It needs a bow to go on it. So then you wind up getting another bow, and then you got bows with sights on them.
I agree. I like that, but getting back to what we talked when I needed a new one was the complete mistake you and I had over here, Pib. When we burnt the
Oh, yeah.
You burnt your string in half?
No.
not the string, we burnt the
No, we were trying.
fiber.
We were trying to
fiber
get
optic, or
we're trying to take the scope housing off of
the
the-
HHA.
and we couldn't get the Allen head broke loose, so I broke out the propane torch to heat it up. Got it just a little warm, and it melted.
Next to the fibers.
Yeah.
but see that, and changing the sight that time. I know we've talked about this numerous times, but putting that other scope on there just so I could shoot my bow that night completely changed everything for me. So that's when I knew it was time to, get something different, because
Right.
it may not have been, but it seemed like it was that housing that was messing me up. So
Well,
that's
sometimes you
kinda what I'm
change just
talking
because of that, because you want to. You see something and you realize this could happen while I'm out in the field, and you want to change that. When right before we went on the goat hunt, we decided to take off a really small screw in really tall grass, and of course,
about. A really big mistake.
Gary's got Frankenstein has catcher's mitts for paws, and dropped it.
They're large hands.
And so right after now, I have enough extra parts to fix every hamski in the country.
You over-ordered? Is that what
I
you're saying?
over-ordered a little bit.
I've got a real nice.
I know who to call now.
I've got a real nice 6-pin sight. I think it's a Hoyt. It's camo. It bright pins and everything else, and I've had it on 2 bows, and I think Vince has had it on a bow, and it's just kind of. I think Art made the comment that
Did it come back in one piece when?
yes, it did.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure he put it on a bow, but he said he did.
Anyway, Art made the comment.
Art made the comment that he hates it, because he hunts with a multi-pin sight, when he's
Right.
because it takes too long to move a. But I've tried it, and I just can't anymore. I just can't make myself use a multi-pin sight. I don't
Really?
know why. I just
What I
everything
do
comes
on
back
mine-
to the brightest one. to
On
me.
mine is I set up 3 pins, a 3-pin slider. Mine's a CBE
So's mine.
Tech Hunter, and so it's a slider. You set up. I got mine at 20, 30, 40, and then my 40-yard pin is a slider. And I have a scale set up for it. And
Yeah, but just your bottom pin slides, right?
No, all three.
All three slide at the same
You just
time.
use the bottom pin.
Yeah. Now that new trophy taker sight, it's a multi-pin sight, but also it'll push out of the way. All the other pins will push out of the way where it's just a single pin if you want to use the slider part on it.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Sweet
know.
price,
Maybe
too.
True Glow had a cool one last year that I liked really well. It was like almost like, what would you call a hologram type deal. It had a dot, a green dot that lit up in the middle of it, and you just reached up and turned it on. There was no fiber optics or anything like that, and it was an adjustable. It was pretty cool.
You know what would be cool if these bow companies, these bow equipment manufacturers would make a sight or a rest, and it has the same Allen head size for all the adjustments on it.
Exactly.
Well, that'd just be silly.
Why is that taking so long to do?
I don't know.
I mean, come
Did you
on.
see the new Spot Hog rest they came out with?
Ticks me off.
That was pretty cool. They just, I saw it on Facebook yesterday. It's a quick detach. You can, you mount the rest mounts to the bow, and then the back half of the rest mounts to that. So you could have like 2 different arrow setups with 2 different blade configurations, or you just swap them out. Say you're going from like Rio was talking about, you could be at Lancaster shooting 27s and have them tuned to that particular rest. Then next week you're going to, say, Neems. You just unlock it, take it off.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because Neems has like a 23 diameter max over there, so
Right.
and it doesn't change your point of impact.
Yeah.
So they call it a swap.
I don't know.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
what it's called.
Dudley's coming out with one made by AAE, too.
I saw that too.
That's going to
and
be a
it
pretty
was
sweet one.
Yep.
It's going to be able to use the Jesse launcher on it from
Yep.
Jesse Broadwater, and I think that's going to be a good one. Dudley's coming out with a lot of good stuff. Carter made him a couple of
Yep, the silverback and the knock to it.
a couple of good releases this year. And
I got to quit listening to him though.
why?
I always pick up something that makes me go, I got to go try that.
Oh, he is so good on stuff like that. You know? If you can only listen to one podcast, delete ours and listen to his, because this is really good.
Hey. He probably listened to this to learn.
There is no chance in hell that John Dudley listens to this podcast. I'm gonna proclaim that right now.
Well, wait a minute.
Here's another problem I have with Easton. What's all this millimeter stuff? I'm American. I want my Americanized stuff. I don't know what a 5 millimeter.
And
or 6
it's
millimeter
9:30
is.
seconds. In case you
I don't
want.
And
I don't know.
And in all honesty, I was so disappointed in Gold Tip. Not really. But they came out with a 9.3.
It's a millimeter.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this to us? I can't figure that stuff out. I can't figure it out.
They tried it when we was in grade school. Didn't work then. Ain't going to
Nope.
work now.
Yeah, we didn't care back then either.
Probably would have been a lot easier, but oh well.
But
It'd be easier if the world would adapt to what we're
now, back to John Dudley. I did listen to him on a different podcast here recently. It was pretty good.
What
was the
podcast is it?
It's a working class bow hunter.
Oh yeah,
It's a surprise.
So,
Working Class Bow Hunter is a good one to listen to.
yep.
I'll tell you the one I really am enjoying here lately is that Mark Kenyon's Wired to Hunt podcast. They're doing a lot of rut reports and stuff like that. That's one I would definitely listen to. The Rich Outdoors, you guys need to listen to him. He's really good too.
Speaking of that, there was the rut. There was a lot of scrapes up at the farm.
I found a few. Yep.
I haven't seen any yet.
Man, up on what we call Aaron's Field, he looked around and said, Dad, there's probably 5 times more scrapes here than there was all of last year already.
Wow.
And I did put 3 cameras up.
Man, it's time.
And yeah, it was. I mean, any oak tree that had a lib down within about 4 foot of the ground, there was activity under it. you
Yep.
know.
And
So,
who gets married on the Saturday before Halloween? Who does that?
Who did it?
here at camp. I got to go to a
Really?
wedding Saturday night.
You're kidding.
No.
I wouldn't go.
Send about a $50.
He's my 6'6" toddler friend. So
Send him
What is his problem?
$50 extra than normal.
Does she hunt?
no.
So he's not going to be able to spend his...
Well, tell him that you would have went,
Oh, my
but you had to
gosh.
come to my house for Pumpkin Day because I got Pumpkin Day on Saturday. Now, got all my kids and grandkids coming and is going to.
I had one buddy get
pumpkin
married on September 15th.
Yeah.
And then another one has a daughter that was born on September 15th.
Well, I can't talk too much because the 12-year-old is getting ready to turn 13. I'm taking this weekend is going to turn 13 on November 1st.
We actually planned. Tab and I had a conversation about this, and we actually planned to make sure we did not have kids during hunting season.
Yeah.
Both girls are in April. I figured it's cheaper to buy diamonds for April than it is to mess with it during hunting season.
No, you
So-
can't. April's turkey season.
It's late April.
How old are your
We got
daughters?
The 2nd and the 21st.
Answer me this.
How old are your daughters?
18 and 15.
And you've been at Ford for 22 years?
23 in January.
Okay. So, and when's our vacation?
July.
Oh, I'll be darned. What's 3 weeks from April? May, June, July. I'll be darned.
3 weeks or 3 months.
3 months, I mean.
Yeah, see? I know. But you look at the dates, and they didn't exactly.
At least we know.
How do you
that-
end up with two daughters 3 days apart?
The 2nd and
The 8th and the 11th.
What are you talking about?
Is that their dates, the
That's-
8th and the 11th?
No, that's when Katie and Anna were born.
Oh.
Katie was born on the 8th. Anna was born on the 11th.
What's your dates?
How'd I do that?
The
It wasn't
2nd and
planned
the
either.
21st.
Oh.
Well, shoot,
What happened
my
on the
sisters are
21st?
11 months apart. They're both their birthdays in April. So for 3 weeks, they're the same age.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, come on. But actually, we were all like, Dad, we don't want another one.
That's what my
shutting up
grandson, my youngest son's oldest said that he's got two little sisters already, and they're going to have another one due here in November. And I asked Xavier, I said, "Hey, Xavier, aren't you excited?" "No, Papa, I'm not." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Well, it's going to be another girl, and we've got enough of them the way it is, so no." I said, "Well, it's too late, dude. You can't turn him down, so." But they won't tell. Katie knows what it is, but
They won't tell
won't
nobody.
tell nobody. So
But anyway, Halloween is traditionally one of my favorite nights
Yeah.
to hunt.
And it's going to be 80.
Yeah.
and the wind blowing.
And
Guess,
wind blowing
guess
40
who's got
miles an
Monday
hour.
off? This guy. Got Halloween off.
You haven't changed it yet?
you
I'm going to go
dirty
and tell him.
rat.
No, I'm going to go and tell him tomorrow I'm going to work. 81 degrees with 25 to 30 mile an hour wind. What's the point?
It's still going to move.
So's the tree.
Aha!
A lot.
My hedge tree won't.
It's been dead since you started
It's
hunting it.
solid.
It may blow over with you in it.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Its
wanted
tree is
to...
petrified. Hey, we did absolutely nothing in answering my good question. So
What is it?
Next week, Pib, what's the topic next week?
are we going to podcast?
Damn if I know.
See how that works? And that's the same answer I'll get all week.
What's the podcast?
Consistent.
So let's talk about this realistically, okay? We're in the last week of October. We're heading
Here
into
it
the
comes.
first 2 weeks of November. Mm-hmm. So let's not make any promises.
No, we're doing podcast.
Okay. See this red button right here?
You're going to be here.
That's where you hit record.
You're off 3 weeks. You can make
I
it
may
one
have-
night.
We'll see.
And kill something.
I've already
so you
been
can-
off a week and I've hunted one day.
If you just go up
Oh,
there
that's
and
You just
easy.
told us you hunted 3 times.
if you just go up there and kill something already,
I had a chance to kill some does last week and I didn't feel like it.
I won't,
can't, though.
I
We
won't
got-
shoot a doe right now.
I'm not going to say where on the property
Oh, you guys
in
shoot
case
before they
somebody
get
listens.
bred.
No.
I don't know, but it's still on you. Hang on.
It's one of them circle flies, I tell you.
All right, I'm back.
Look like an eagle.
Oh, man.
It's dead.
It's
now.
a good thing you killed that. That was an assassin bug.
Yeah.
What is that?
An assassin bug, they have a really nasty bite.
Stink? Oh.
He just got assassinated.
It looked
But,
like a yellow jacket flying into my face. That's why
I thought you were going to do cartwheels backwards.
And I was going to laugh.
It was like dodgeball. Duck, dodge, and dive.
All they could see was these giant legs. He thought it was a spider.
Here it comes.
All those spiders you killed, they could have had a web that would have got that bug, and it wouldn't have hit you like that.
It wouldn't have got that one before I did.
Right.
But
he's not as
we're
creepy as a
we're
spider.
seeing some good bucks, and they're all moving at night. So we can't mention that on the podcast because you might have a relative that listens.
Nobody listens to this. None of my family does.
You are so positive it makes me sick.
None of my family listens to this.
It's because I can't figure out.
So you can't even
Use the
post them to
internet.
You can't post your pictures to Facebook or to Instagram.
We share. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
I'm almost to the point, I hate to say this, where it's getting kind of to be work to actually kill something. I like to go out and hunt, and I want meat, so I am going to kill a doe, I think. But I want if I kill a doe, it's got to be like around 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to kill one at night because I don't want to mess with it. So I want a doe, but I want it to come by like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I can sit in the tree stand for a couple hours and then shoot her, and then
and have the rest of the day to mess with her.
have time to get
your
back
own
in the tree
leisurely
stand
pace.
by afternoon.
I can't say that.
So when are you supposed to shoot a doe? Because Bob says you can't shoot one after the rut because they have a baby, so you're killing two.
No, that's what I get told all the time.
And you're saying don't kill one now because
I'm not going to shoot one now because right now you're shooting the bait.
Right. So I don't know. And I asked a conservation friend. I asked a conservation agent friend about if you kill it, if you wound a deer, do you tag it? And he said that's kind of left up to interpretation because it's not real clear. I saw a post that Kevin McGrath and some other guys put on there. He goes, now if you have a guy who constantly wounds deer and never finds them, that's kind of getting to be major over limit,
Right.
And so, but I don't know. He goes, it's kind of up to you. He said, I'm reading that Aldo Leopold book, Sand County Almanac, and he said his last deal was, what would Aldo Leopold do? And Leopold do? And he
wouldn't miss. He's got a really good scope.
No, he would count it,
Well, he had a boy come in from Wisconsin, and he shot one of the real nice 10-pointers that they had. That they had kind of a list of shootable bucks that they have. It's friends of ours, well, part of the taxidermy and stuff that have a hunting farm up there north of Minden, and he shot it, passed through, good blood. That it trotted off and then just started walking off. Real slow, kind of had its head down, and they went back the next day and couldn't find it.
Oops.
So, said real good blood,
Liver shot, probably.
Well, we had that experience, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. My nephew.
I don't know. I would have probably still been looking in the ponds, just in case he did get it back in the paunch or something, or Yellow Creek up there or something. If he gave him all night, he should have been in the water someplace, I think. But
right,
I don't know. That boy's done hunting on that farm now. They're not going to let him go back and even shoot another one or attempt to shoot another one because they kind of give a limit of what each family can shoot.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
So they're basically. I don't think he counted it in his harvest.
Right, and I never have. I'll be honest with you. I never have. You said you do.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just started at the last probably 6 years, but
right.
the one I know was because coyotes got it.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to take anything home, but I went ahead and tagged it. So, but that's probably about the only one that I've shot in the last 6 years that I didn't retrieve. Actually, bring home. So
I've been seeing a lot of stuff on Facebook about, and this is kind of controversial, but new guys asking questions, and you're almost afraid to get in there and answer them because somebody's going to light you up, or
even on Facebook.
Even on Facebook.
Oh, is it on one of the hunting deals.
Well, yeah.
People add me to them all the time, and I go in and I take myself out.
And, because I get tired of the notifications.
I do. I know.
But, and some of the questions are legitimate. You can tell they're just brand new to it. Some of them are so common sense. But what I'm really getting tired of is you'll see somebody will show a picture of a rack. What's he score?
Yeah.
And it's so much become about score now. And I read one last night, and I actually even commented on it. And the gist of it was that he's never had a chance at a really big deer and was upset that it was all about score and yada, yada, yada. And maybe I can even find it here. I won't read any names, but maybe I can find it.
It's one of those things where if your goal is to shoot a big deer, you can't shoot a big one
if you're shooting.
If you shoot a little one.
Right.
I mean...
But...
okay, here we go.
Is our goal to shoot a big deer? Or is our goal to hunt and enjoy ourselves?
Yep.
Is there another one on me?
Here's the comment, and I'll just read it. It says, he's been hunting for the last 12 years or so, never had a chance at a big buck. Everyone I see is always talking about what they score. I remember my first hunt, Dad took me on like it was yesterday. I shot a button buck. That was a trophy to me. Every deer I'm able to lay to rest to feed myself and my family is a trophy. It's not about how big of a buck you can kill.
Mm-hmm.
True.
That is very, very true, and there's a lot of that goes around.
But you can make anybody can make an argument against any situation.
Yep.
Just like that. If you want to feed your family, shoot a doe.
Right.
Right. That's not my point with that is this. Deer hunting is what you make of it, and it's just like archery. You can take it as far as you want to take it. It all depends on how serious you want to be about it, and what your financial limitations are, what your ground limitations are, or what have you. But, and I'm guilty of getting caught in the score thing myself at times. But as I look back on all the deer that I've shot over the years, it becomes about the hunt, not the score for me. Because each and every one of those deer you take has a story and a hunt that goes with it, no matter what he scores. And I can sit back and I can look at the progression of what I thought was an awesome deer when I shot it, 20 years ago. The biggest thing I'd ever had walk under me. It was a booner as far as I was concerned. It probably was a 100-inch deer, And so...
Well, it's like kind of what Jack was talking about a while ago. Once you shoot one, basically you're done for a while unless you want to buy a doe tag or something.
Right.
But I've had some super great hunts and never even pulled my bow back.
Yep.
Just like what you were talking about the other morning.
Yep.
And it's all, I don't know, I guess I'm old because it's not about killing it anymore.
Right.
No. And it used to be. And that's part of the progression that you go through as a bow hunter, I think.
My advice to any new guys out there is, and my advice to anybody out there is you set your own rules.
Yes. Don't set
if your rule is I want to kill a buck, and here in Missouri it's got to have 4 points on one side, and a little 4-pointer comes by, one with 4 points on one side.
It's what makes you happy.
And you want to shoot that deer, shoot it. You know, as long as you don't just take the rack and just throw it in the corner of your garage,
right.
or whatever. I'm almost to the point now where I've been actually thinking about this for a while, because I'm getting more and more, putting more stuff on Instagram than I am Facebook anyway. But you try to come up with that cool Instagram photo and stuff, and I'm thinking if I kill a buck this year or kill a doe or whatever, I may not even really put the picture of it. I may put a picture of my arrow focused on the bloody arrow or something, and you can see the buck laying in the background or something like that.
Right.
That doesn't even give anybody a chance to say, "Man, you shouldn't have shot that deer."
Yeah, and that's what I hate because
yeah.
the first deer
I'll send a picture to you guys, but I don't know. I just think there's. Shoot what makes you happy is what I'm trying to say.
Trophy is in the eye of the beholder.
Hunting is getting worse and worse. Not worse and worse, but it's getting harder all the time. On North American Whitetail the other day, Dr. James Kroll was talking about this. They call him Dr. Deer.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying the same thing. But he also said one thing that I didn't agree with him with. One thing I didn't agree with him with was he said that a lot of people say that hunting is being priced out of the regular guy. And he said, no, that's not true at all. I disagree with him with that. I
do too.
Now, I'm a hypocrite because if I had a chance to be on a TV show, I would jump on it in a heartbeat. But it's getting so hard. Vinny is hunting on a new piece of property now, and he's had to change properties 3 times this weekend because this one farmer that keeps letting him hunt doesn't communicate well with his son, and his son is leasing the property out to other people.
Right.
Well, and so
I've lost a 1,200 acre lease.
Yeah.
A few years ago. It was 13 years we hunted that, and it was a family thing. Thunder lost his lease this year.
It's big business anymore, and you can't blame the guys who own the land to make money off.
I went from having 300 acres right here behind the house that I had full run of to down to 40 here just in the neighborhood that I can hunt.
Yeah.
So it's getting tougher and tougher.
It is.
And I think the TV shows themselves have had a lot to do with that because as hunting has gained popularity, people of higher means than your average Joe can go out, get on the bandwagon, and they can go write that check for that 400-acre farm or that 1,000-acre farm. And the farmer that used to let me and Vinny and you and Jack and everybody come in and hunt just on a, hey, do you mind if we hunt? Can't do that anymore.
Right.
It's not the same where you can go out and, you can go help a farmer all summer, put up hay and all that stuff, and for doing all that, he lets you hunt.
Yeah, for 20 years.
It's not like that anymore.
And I think there might be some more of those out there. And Missouri, Kansas, and some other places has it, and Missouri is trying to get that program started where they're working with farmers to allow walk-in areas in Missouri.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Thunder's not even going to hunt this year.
He doesn't have a place to. I mean, we got public land around, but
Yeah, but the legwork, in order to be successful, that's something like he and I were talking about the other day. That's a year in advance. You got to do the legwork now to hunt next year.
And all of us who've been hunting the same property, we don't have that legwork because we know exactly where we're going to put our stands every year.
Yep.
I might change 1 or 2 around every year, but for the most part, you're gonna where you're gonna put your stands.
Well, and if you do go out and do the legwork to get a place to hunt this year, you still won't know that property for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
But to truly know it, truly figure out what's going on, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. I think it.
See, when in 1989, I went to over to the Triplet Brunswick Sumner area over by Swan Lake, and goose hunting and duck hunting stuff was still going. Goose hunting was still going kind of strong over there, not super strong, but it was still going on, and it was just like it was a shock to me because I went over there and around home you go up and ask somebody, hey, you mind if I lay down out there and throw a tarp over me and throw some beans on me and put out some few decoys and shoot some ducks or geese off your stock field? Nah, go ahead, it's no problem. And to going over there and everybody, all these guys started showing up. The old houses there in Triplet, they were actually cabins. I mean, these guys were coming back in there, and some of them had money that they would come in there the 1st of October and start bow hunting and stay through waterfowl season, plumb in through the end of deer season, all the way through. They stayed there. I mean, they had jobs where they could just hunt that whole time, and they were leasing all this ground. I mean, they didn't come in and ask. And the farmers over there at one point around Swan Lake, they were making more money off of leasing out their goose hunting pits than they were farming it.
Wow.
And it was a real pain in the butt back when we started custom spraying and stuff, because most of the time your booms were, you had to watch out for goose binds and stuff like that with your booms. But that area over there had been used to being leased, people going around and leasing it and stuff. And it was amazing how sometimes one guy would put in a paper, that he had this ground that someone decided not to lease their ground that they'd been hunting for a while. So he put it up to bids, and there was just about like an auction,
like a bidding war.
Yeah, to go and lease the ground, and
you can't blame the guy for doing it.
No,
but nope.
And I had, to be honest, I've never ever leased a piece of ground in my life.
Yeah, I've never had to.
I've either had kinfolk that had ground, or asked, different farmers and stuff that I knew that for permission, or my uncle sending me in someplace where I wasn't supposed to be and getting run off or something like that.
Our family farm down at DeWitt.
Yeah,
we hunted there for 20 years. Killed my first bow kill was there. We go in the weekend before rifle season one time and find some guys in there cutting firewood.
Yeah.
And we're the only ones using the place. It's an abandoned 180 acres. Nobody's ever there, so we take care of it. We watch it. We make sure fences are okay. No shenanigans, all that stuff. And we go in and find this guy cutting firewood, and we're like, "Who are you?" "Oh, we're just cutting firewood." "Well, you need to leave." We find out our aunt or 90-year-old aunt that owns it has given a guy permission to go in there and cut firewood. Okay. Later that day, we get a phone call from the aunt. "You know what, guys? You guys have hunted there for an awful long time. It's time to give it up and let somebody else hunt there." The firewood guys leased it out from under us.
Wow. Guess they got revenge on you, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what the solution is, but
and this big deer thing, there's nothing like. I've known different people that have went in and just got permission to hunt on the ground and go in there and kill a big deer. They may have seen him when they driving by or something like that, and all of a sudden these guys that are at the taxidermy shop or wherever looks and, man, that's a heck of a deer and everything. Where'd you shoot him at? I got him out 3 miles north and 2 miles west. So they get on the plat book and look. Next thing you know, that ground's leased up. If it can produce that type of deer.
Yep.
And that's happening a lot.
That's happened right here, Bob.
Yeah.
So but the bad part is that deer doesn't necessarily come from that property. He could have just been walking through one time.
Yep.
And the guy's still getting $10,000 a year.
We went down over the hill here one morning, like second week in November, and a guy that I was hunting with, it was taking me over some other stuff here, some urban stuff over in closer to downtown, all that, And so I thought, he's taking me over there to hunt. I'll bring him over here. We go down in there, and no shit, he was the only booner I've ever seen. He was a 170, 180 class deer. And this other guy was with me was probably 60 yards from me. And he saw that deer with me that morning. I didn't get the deer killed, but this guy that was with me saw it. 4 days later, I find out he goes around behind me over here to the guy that had kicked us all off of that property and tries to get it leased and go in there. Now, here I was nice enough to take him to my spot.
Yeah.
And then he tries to go around me.
Yep.
To get me out of there.
I'll tell you what, whitetails will make people You'll know who your friends are.
Yes,
But
you will.
Anybody from Iowa and Kansas and Illinois that would happen to listen to this podcast, that booner that Jim Frazier just talked about, that's it. The only Boone and Crockett buck that is in the state of Missouri.
Yep.
Yeah.
There isn't any big
So there
bucks in
isn't-
Missouri.
No.
Nope.
So
Nope.
there's no need.
No,
to even
rifle hunters kill them all.
And you need to be, on a serious note on that, you need to be realistic on what kind of bucks you have. On my property, I have 140 acres, but I share it with 3 or 4 other guys. And got a lot of neighbors hunting around us and stuff. And if you get a chance at 130 to 140 inch deer, that's going to be a really big deer on that property, which it's a big deer anyway, but it's, probably better not pass that buck up.
Like I said, I've let several deer walk that 15 minutes later I heard shots and they killed them.
Yep.
And it was the biggest deer that guy had killed. He mounted both of them, and
Especially here in Missouri, we have the gun season during the rut.
Yep.
So bucks are up running around chasing does and getting shot.
Well, I live here on the edge of city limits, maybe I'm a half mile inside of city limits. And I love to hunt right here when gun season starts, because east of me, when they start firing up, all those deer come into city limits. So it's a really good time to be in a tree around here.
Right.
Now, I miss the whole camaraderie of hunting camp and the whole gun thing, but it can be pretty productive if you play your cards right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's a potential to have as big a deer right here, half mile inside of city limits, as there is 100 miles north of here.
And again, I'm not knocking any pro hunters out there or anything. I would join them in a heartbeat. But hunting anymore, even we used to go to the stand, we'd have cheap camo on with a knife on our belt, and that would be about it. And now I got a backpack that weighs about 30 pounds full of crap that I don't need and
How
never
many?
take out. Yours is a little heavier because you're packing the camera.
Okay.
I'm about tired of doing that too. I'm about ready to sell the camera and be done with that. That's not.
I know
that's
better than that.
becoming
You enjoy the double set so we can sit there and talk the whole time.
That's like you.
You know what though? It's really cool that you two can go and do that together as friends and be fair about it and enjoy it and have fun with it. I bought a camera several years ago, and we all sat in this garage, and there was 4 of us that sat in here, and okay, here's what we want to do. We want to film this. We're gonna make a 130-inch minimum and get them on film and see what we can do with it. Right? We were affiliated with a sporting goods store and the whole 9 yards. That worked really, really good when they wanted to be filmed.
Yeah.
When it was my turn to hunt, everybody else wanted to go hunt. Nobody wanted to film.
Right.
So I owned the camera.
Yeah.
So here I am, the a-hole, because I'm telling them, don't shoot these deer. Don't shoot, we need to get this on camera. We need to do this. We're trying to do this for real. And we're no longer friends over that.
Yeah.
That's where I have really super respect for those guys that are filming out there and hunting and passing deer up because they don't have a good, the camera's not on it.
Right.
Because I saw a show the other evening that it was a black bear being shot, and you couldn't see at all the bear or anything, and
You can see the Luminoc.
He shot it, and this guy has been killing a lot of big animals in the past three years or so.
Well,
and he didn't pass up because he'd been having trouble, getting on a good black bear, and he got on this one and he shot it because even though the camera wasn't on it, he shot it anyway. And I thought I just couldn't believe it. And then I can remember a show. It was out in Illinois. A guy had they had a giant 8-pointer on there, and this guy it was what is it, Hadley Creek?
Yep, I remember.
and they had they let this guy go on there to bow hunt, but they told him the one deer on the farm that he could not shoot was this giant 8-pointer, and it was huge. And the first deer that came by him, and within just less than 30 minutes after he was up there, was that giant 8-pointer. And he filmed him and stuff, and says it was one of the toughest things that he'd ever done.
Oh, yeah.
And to let that big 8-point go, and because I guess they had already had somebody that they were going to come in and do a show later and try to kill this deer, just specifically try to kill that deer. So the guy agreed, yeah, I won't shoot it. And he said, I didn't even have any inkling that I would even see the deer.
Right.
Right.
And it was a monster.
Yeah.
But I never did see the show where they killed it later. But
when you add that camera, you add double the scent, double the noise, double the movement. It's hard. It's not easy.
No, it's a double. I mean, the weight of just packing it all out there just sucks. I think this may be the last year for me with it.
When I was doing it, well, there's my camera right there. It's old Canon GL1.
I saw one of those for sale for $500 today on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that one for $4.
That's half your new bow.
Exactly.
All right.
There you go. Just email Pib if you're interested in the camera.
Yep.
You still buy tapes for it and stuff, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Pib 47 at gmail.com.
Speaking of which,
yes,
I want to read a review from iTunes. We're starting to get some reviews come in.
Really?
Because we're getting...
they want free stuff.
Well, yeah, but that's all right.
Okay.
But this is from Muck Bow Hunt. He's been listening to us for a long time. From the very first show we did before we started the new version of the Bowdudes. Yeah, he said, I've been listening to y'all from the beginning. It was great to see you get going again via the OPC. Congrats on adding your own podcast again. I appreciate your humor and average Joe approach to archery and bow hunting. Keep up the good work. I listen to them while running to stay in shape for my hunts out west. So I'm glad he's doing that because there's a whole bunch of fat guys sitting around the table right now. Knowing that...
almost spit pop all over it.
It's good to know that we're helping some guys stay in shape.
I hate it when he looks at me when he says that.
Muck Bow Hunt. We appreciate the review. And speaking of reviews, Gary.
Yes.
Tell us about the giveaway we're going to do.
It is
when we get to 50 reviews,
64-ounce Arctic bottle that has been powder coated matte black with the Bowdudes logo on it. I've got it in the truck for you guys to see. It's pretty cool.
I don't want to see it.
So these are all listed in order.
I can order you another one, Bob.
You got to order me one of these.
These reviews are all listed in order by number.
I can get those.
And so we will. What we'll do is right now, what we'll plan on doing is we'll just put all the numbers in a jar and we'll pull them out, and whoever's number that is that's who wins. But one of the problems we have is not everybody has an Apple product. So we need to check and see, is there any way they can leave a review on iTunes without having an iPhone? If you tried
computer.
That? Can you do it on the computer?
Yeah.
Because you have iTunes on your computer, right, to download, and you don't have any kind of Apple products.
No.
So you can go on your computer, go to iTunes.com.
Yeah, download iTunes
onto a PC.
Yeah.
Not a Mac, a PC.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that solves the problem right there.
Yeah.
So
you can do that.
Yeah, because it was Wesley was talking about that.
Gates?
Huh? No, Little Wes.
Weasel?
Yeah. Weasel was talking about that. So you can go through and you can download iTunes, and you have to sign in and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then go do a search.
You'll create an account.
Right, create an account. Search for Bowdudes. It's all free. Search for Bowdudes Podcast. You'll see our logo. Click on it. There'll be a place right there to leave a review. Just leave us a review. And as soon as we get to 50, this will be our first. We'll keep doing giveaways, but the first 50.
We're going to give this thing away in what?
Hopefully a couple weeks.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long is it going to take to get 60?
No, not very long. We just announced it last week, and we were already getting quite a few. So
really?
Yep. So anyway, It won't take long. Just go in there and get it done, and then hopefully we'll give it away here in the middle of November. So,
well, I put on Instagram and stuff it was going to be December, so we're going to wait until December.
Well, if we get 50, then I promised. So
that's just words.
And then we'll give away.
We're going with pictures.
The next giveaway might be
we got to give away the Arctic mug too.
PSE Carbon Air or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got one hanging outside.
What's up? Hey, I got to ask you guys this. What's up with all the throwback camo?
What do you mean?
The throwback camo, like the original mossy oak. That's what New Breed's putting on their bow. There's
I saw some.
Real Tree's new one is new, or old original camo is on another bow.
You know the best looking camo ever.
The lead
tree bark.
Tree bark and mossy oak bottomland, where it's just it's almost the same as tree bark.
Yeah.
Elite does
the best
too,
two ever.
I'm gonna wear my tree bark hoodie next time.
Oh man,
it's the real thin stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I got
a hat and out of that stuff. Actually, one of the outdoor show hats.
Well, I've got an ancient pair of coveralls that are tree bark, and I've had them so long they're almost white.
I've got some
because I've washed them so many times. You know, I used to love them because you could stand in a tree and nobody could see you because you look just like the tree.
You didn't kill any deer with them, did you?
A few.
With that old pattern?
Oh yeah.
No way.
That stuff doesn't work. It's outdated.
But now
deer look up there like
now I can't wear them because they're so white. You look like a snowball standing in a tree.
If you wash them in UV killer, you can wear them when it's snowing.
Yeah, when you look at camo,
I can use them for snow camo.
When you look at camo at night on a camera, it's all white. You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the deer seeing? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
you leaving, Bob?
No, I had to pop my back.
I think we're running out of stuff to talk about.
We never did talk about topic. So we.
What was your topic?
I don't remember now.
When to change gear?
Oh, right after the question, it changed gear.
I'll tell you. Hey,
right after you asked the question, we did change gears.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. Is one way to decide. Mm-hmm. Another way to decide is how bad do you want your nuts out of that purse?
I would flip through an archery magazine, and the coolest looking ad, that'd be my choice.
We know it would be yours.
The cool thing is, if it's really neat, we can buy it like 3 weeks later at a very cut rate, and that's fantastic.
And here's a little bit of a hint.
I've cut back.
Whatever.
I wouldn't sell it to you guys again anyway.
Yeah, you would.
After all this.
If you use a credit card, the best way to do it is have $400 or $500 in cash, and put $400 or $500 in cash on it, and then pay the rest of it with your credit card, and say, "See, I sold that bow on the internet, my old bow, for $650, and this brand new bow, I bought it for $450."
That's good thinking, Bob.
I ain't no dummy. Might have been, and it'll work till she happens to see somebody put one on Facebook or something and how much they really cost.
Oh, well. You know what? If they were bow hunters, there wouldn't be an issue. We'd be buying bows left and right.
If they were
for them.
If they were bow hunters, we'd never get a break from them.
Just ask Vince.
Yep. No doubt.
Never mind. Forget I said that. Hi, Barb.
Best thing I ever did was teach my wife how to hunt. Worst thing I ever did was teach my wife how to hunt.
It's like I taught mine how to shoot. I just didn't teach her how to reload. Saved me a couple times.
All right, I'm going to try to play music, but it's not working again. I don't know what the problem is.
It's an Apple phone.
I ain't singing.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
All right, Gary.
You can find us at Bowdudes.com. No, it's the book.
Can you see that far?
No, I can't.
I gotta move it
at
over
Facebook,
here.
we're the Bowdudes. I can't see through you either. And yeah, look us up. Go on the internet, type in Bowdudes. We'll show up. That was simple.
Last
enough.
podcast we tried Mixler. I think that's going to be thrown out the window already.
It was, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
It never even got in the window to get thrown back out.
Oh, well.
Hey, look for us on Instagram, too. Just type in the Bowdudes.
But it's cool thing.
Jack and I put a lot of junk up there. Sometimes it's funny.
I
sometimes
have
it's
great
not.
ideas, but then
Your ideas all
I
suck.
abandoned them
You should
right
listen to
away.
us more often.
So I know they all suck.
Oh, and by the way, just a side note, there will be no more bicycles till after lessons are over.
That's right. So no more bicycle until spring.
Bicycle.
You're welcome. See ya.
See ya.
Shut up.
See you in the
shoot.
funny papers.